it's Jackie, the Jackie Jackson real estate coach and investor, and today I am on my way out to Port St. Lucie, Florida to meet one of my favorite students, okay? So I mentored this young man here a few years ago. His name is Joseph, and now Joseph has over 10, I said it, 10 multifamily properties that he's acquired in Port St. Lucie, and I want to go visit him because I want to see all of the good things that he has done in Port St. Lucie. He's going to show me around his property, show me around all of the fantastic things that he's done, all the renovations, and explain his process and how he acquired them and how he utilized the information that I shared with him in order to get all of these properties under contract and purchasing and cash flowing. And before I get on down there, I just want to give a quick shout out to my favorite clothing design, which is Kneeling Couture. So shout out to Gabrielle Hopkins. I'm wearing I'm Not Most Girls t-shirt today because I'm really not most girls. So follow me as I head on down to Port St. Lucie, Florida. So we finally made it safely to Port St. Lucie, and I'm standing outside Joseph's, I think it's a triplex, right? And right behind the triplex is another multifamily that Joseph owns. I am so proud of this young man. I can't wait to introduce you to him because he is doing big things. Joseph, come on over. Woohoo! Let me give you a hug. I'm so happy to see you.
It's a pleasure as well.
I know the drive was
awesome.
It was awesome. From Orlando, I even missed my turn. It was I was like, where am I going? But little GPS
No
navigation.
No stop at all?
One potty break.
Okay.
Just one potty break because I had to get down here before it got dark so I can see. So take us around and show us everything that you've done. How long have you owned this one?
So this one, I've owned this for about 4 years right now. Just breaking the 4 years. This May just passed, and this was my second purchase. The first one is a duplex, and this definitely is the second one that I purchased. It was this triplex, and literally when I first got it, it was just literally the blocks. That's all it was.
You were telling me that it was like a shell.
That's it, just a block. I mean, we even had to stucco the whole outside because there was not stucco in there, in the outside of it, and there was nothing else on the inside. So it was a great learning experience for me. And within those 4 years, I've had some, learning experience, and now I'm like semi-handyman.
A semi-handyman. I actually think you're a professional handyman.
No, not
a
quite
semi-handyman. Because when he's being humble, you guys, all right? Because when Joseph bought this, he didn't know anything about real estate. We were on the phone with each other every week, I would say.
Almost every other day.
Every other day, all right? Every other day. He was like, Jackie, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? And I was like, it's okay. Don't panic. It's all right. But he purchased this property and it was in disarray, all right? So it was just a shell. He had to gut the entire inside, stucco the exterior of the property, and then bring it back up to code, right, in order to get families to move in here. So right now you're renovating. You just had someone move out of it?
Just had somebody moved out, and preparing it so it can be ready before the first. So I can have somebody else move in. I've had quite a few people who are interested, so therefore try to work morning all the way to the evening, make sure get it ready so they can move in by the first.
All right, that's pretty dope. All right, well, let's get inside because it's starting to rain.
Yes.
And I don't like getting wet. It's messing up my lipstick.
Yes.
Let's go.
We don't want to do that. Don't want to mess up the camera.
No, you can't mess up the lipstick. So we are standing inside a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, one of the units inside the triplex for Joseph, right? So 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. Let's take a look. How many square footage is this unit?
This is about 850.
850? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at one of the bedrooms. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yes.
All right, so come on in. Oh, this is a really nice space.
Oh, yeah. So today was the first day of operation, cleaning, you might say.
Right.
So everything has not been cleaned up yet, but this is the beginning stage of it, as you can see. But the tenant just moved out about last week, and my first day here trying to clean it up. But this is what the normal square footage looks like for this room. All right, it has 2 windows and of course a fan light and its own closet.
Very, very cool. So this is like, it looks like it's about a 10 by 10 or 10 by 12.
Yes.
Average size room. Could fit like a queen size bed in here.
Yes.
And maybe like one armoire or a dresser. So this is very nice.
Yes,
Right.
definitely. Like this is like for a single person with 1 kid or something like that. Or just
A
someone
very
with,
small family.
yes,
Yeah.
very small family there. So this is the next bedroom here.
Oh, very cool. So if you had a child, your child is like right next door.
Right next door to you, and you shouldn't have no problem at all. You know, it's similar as far as sizes and closet and all that stuff. So it's like the same as the other one, by 10 by 10, and yeah, for a regular small size family. You know?
So what did this space look like? Because I know the tenant was in here for a year. You had one tenant, one family in here for a year. But prior to that family, that lease, what did it look like in here? Like, I know you had to paint, you had to clean it out, you had to drywall. Like, what did you have to do to make it look this
To make it look like this, basically everything you see in here is like everything that was replaced.
The
like
floors.
You see that the windows, brand new windows. So new window we had to put in there. And all
Right.
that stuff. The floors, brand new floors. We had to go purchase them from Home Depot or where else that we purchased them and replaced them and all that stuff. The closet doors, and we put this brand new window unit in there as well, just with the windows. Pretty much everything. New ceiling fan, and about 4 years ago, so it looks like it's getting a little age.
Right.
But yeah, it's brand new everything. Smoke alarm, everything.
So just like when you have tenants as a landlord, one of the biggest challenges of being a landlord is maintenance.
Maintenance.
And will your tenant take care of the property the way how you would want them to?
So it depends on what kind of tenant that you get. So this thing is like almost like a coin toss.
Yes.
So sometimes you get like good tenants that would take care of the property. Like for example, the previous tenant that we had, it was in 66, I want to say, year old lady. Then finally, I guess she had to move back with her daughter and things like that.
Oh, with her family. Okay.
And that's why she left. But when she left, the place was exactly the same way when we first gave it to her, because she was one of our first tenants who actually occupied the premises here. But after her, we had the recent tenant that just moved out. OMG.
OMG.
It was an OMG.
It was an OMG.
Yeah, it was definitely an OMG.
Wow.
So,
Wow. But that didn't discourage you or deter you.
No, because one of the things that we foresee before we were doing this, because we were like, hey, you know what? This is for tenants. Definitely, we want to put tiles in there.
Okay.
So
I see that. No carpet.
No carpet. This is one of the key things that we harped on, is just like no carpet at all, because it's easy to clean. You don't have to replace it. You just gotta, it takes a little time to clean. That's it.
You just steam the floor, steam the grout,
and
paint.
And
yes.
pretty much it.
And wipe off the ceiling fans. We're gonna have to do some like cosmetics. It's just basically some really down home good spring cleaning.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
To bring everything back up to the normal where you had it prior to when that the previous tenant moved in. But you have a really nice bathroom in here. So this is like a 3-piece bathroom.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's pretty nice. So it's a tub, shower combo, toilet, and a singular sink. Then here you have an area where the you shared with me that they can put their dryer here.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely put a dryer.
Put a dryer here. And then this is the family community area. This is the area where you have like your living area, right? Where living dining combination.
Yes.
And then what's around here in the corner?
So around here, this is the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
This is kind of separated. They have a little divider area with divided kitchens, and
So was this here when you got it, or you installed this?
It was
wall?
actually here.
Oh, okay.
It was here. So most of everything that was they were here, except that most of the walls were gone and all that stuff.
Really?
Repaired. So the other key thing that we added here into the living room was the window unit.
So you installed this window here? Oh no, you installed the AC.
Yes, the AC unit, as opposed to put it right there in the window. So we just make sure that we fabricated the hole and just put it on the hole here. And this is an AC unit that can air 1,800 square foot. So
okay,
this
pretty powerful.
Yes, yes. So it has AC and heaters in it. So pretty much whoever lives here will be comfortably having AC and heater in both seasons.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So the next 2 units over, you shared, how many bedrooms are those?
Like triplex, not triplex, 3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms.
Yes.
So 3 bedroom in the middle and another 3 bedroom unit on the end, and this is a 2 bedroom.
Yes.
Oh my word.
Yes.
So how much does this cash flow for you? What's your gross revenue on this?
So gross on this is about $2,300 a month, because the 3 bedrooms here goes for 8 and the 2 bedroom goes for 7.
Wow! Congratulations! And you said it so casually, like that's, it's only $2,300 a month.
But it's for the goal that we have.
Right.
It is only.
It is only.
I'm trying to be in your shoes, like to be like you, where hey, the sky's the limit, right? You cannot dream little, right?
No, you cannot dream little by any means. So you have 3 doors in this complex, and then across you have another triplex again. So that's 6 doors,
yes,
right, total. And for those who are not used to that terminology, whenever you have multifamily properties, you count them by doors.
Yes.
So that's 6 doors. So how many additional units do you have?
Besides those 2 triplex here, we have another triplex not too far down in the line, and we have another 2 more duplex not too far down the line as well. And we got 2 other single-family houses just around the cubicle of this area, like let's say about 2 miles square. We have those.
Just I done lost count.
Yeah.
I lost count. You said you started 4 years ago.
We started 4 years ago, literally like starting purchase. This is the second purchase about 4 years ago. Because I remember June 4 years ago we purchased this one, but the first one was purchased in April 4 years ago.
Right.
Which was the first duplex we purchased and all that stuff. And from there on, and that's one of the most reasons why I usually bug you, because when I needed to hey, what do I need to do in order for me to get some cash? Hey, this is not going right. And you coach me along the way, the proper step, the proper places to go in order for me to get some cash to eventually add to what I had. And yes, big thanks to you. Now we have 15 so far, 15 what you would call units.
Yes, 15 doors, 15 units.
Yes, 15 units. And we're in the process of getting a 5-plex right now. So your coaching method works, and I'm a great example of that.
I'm so happy for you. You have no idea. If I could just explode right now all over your walls, I would totally explode.
Yeah.
Because when I do speak to my coaching students, I do encourage you and let them know that the sky is definitely the limit. You can accomplish anything that you put your mind to, and you started with one, right?
Yes.
You started actually with a dream, actually. That's really where it started first, with a dream and a desire, and then we put a plan in place so you can acquire just one.
Just one.
And then from 1 you got 2.
You got 2.
And then from 2 you had 3.
3.
Oh my word.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And now you're off to a 5-plex, you said?
Yes.
Where is that, on another side of town?
So the 5-plex, it looks like things starting getting a little saturated here. So therefore we're moving a little distance to the next county in Okeechobee. And this is one of our strategy in order for us to expand, because sometimes you just got to move out of your comfort zone. You just got to move out of the area where you're at, because whenever things are not working for you the way that you want to, you just move to the next place. That's what we're doing. So right now we went to the next county and we found a 5-plex that's affordable to what we want, and we're in the process of buying a 5-plex right now.
Do you hear that, guys?
Yes.
Do you hear that? My heart is pitter-pattering. I am such a huge advocate for moving outside of your immediate market, because there are so many more opportunities if you would just loosen up your guidelines and really focus on the bigger picture, which is trying to find the properties that fit your criteria, fit your end state, and fit your goal. So how did you find the 5-plex over there? What kind of marketing are you doing to find those properties?
So I've purchased a few properties from a real estate agent before.
Okay, you use agents to find the deals for you.
So I use all type of markets, not just one. And
right.
That's one of the things that has worked for us too, because all the things that we've had here, we've used we buy from Tax Deed. We bought one from Tax Deed.
My favorite.
Yes, definitely. And I remember I talked to you several times before I got that one on Tax Deed. I wanted to understand it, and this was our initial conversation.
Yes.
I remember, how do I do that? And from what you told me, I was able to do a little bit more research in the county here. And then from that research on, I was given the information. This is how you go. And from the information that you gave me, I put two and two together. And we started bidding, and eventually we did. We had a duplex.
You won.
We won one of that from that. So besides that, we go surf the net too, and we found one like that. And I sent out letters too.
Okay.
The letters of, hey, I'm interested in this property. I see that you have. Are you gonna, and one did return the call. And I have a friend of mine who knows that this is what I do, and he's a real estate agent. And someone called him like, hey, I live out of state. My mother had this property, and they're charging her like 2 years of tax, and they just cut her yard, and she's in distress. I just need to get rid of it, so to get. And the first person he thought of was, hey, me, because he know that that's what I do. So he called me. This house didn't even go into the market. It just strictly went to me, and buying it straight from her and things like that. So it's a lot of different strategy, a lot of different outlet that we use, that we go into in order for us to find what we want and what we got can work for us.
Absolutely, because having multiple different strategies going simultaneously increases the probability of you getting what you want, right? That only makes sense. So for the real estate investors out there, as well as the agents, if you only have one tool in your toolkit, then you're going to limit yourself and you're not going to have the opportunities. That's where your frustration is. So in my coaching program, I teach the students how to have multiple strategies so that they can be the most successful as possible and have the highest probability of getting the properties that they really want. Well, all right. Well, let's take a tour outside. And I think you said that you were trying to bid on some of the other properties outside?
Yes, there were like 5 other triplexes here. We were trying to bid, and I guess somebody else outbid us on that one. But,
oh, for real?
Yeah. So it's okay. So this is a part of the of gaining and and not gaining sometimes. So it's just a part of the game, I guess.
But how ambitious is that? So there were 5. How many?
5 triplexes.
5 triplexes that are your surrounding neighbors.
Yes.
And you were trying to acquire them. You were trying to buy the entire neighborhood, actually.
That would be a great buy. Yes, it would have been.
That would have been a really great buy. Like I would have did like some cartwheels all the way from Orlando down to Port St. Lucie. I would have cartwheeled all the way down here for you.
Yes.
So let's go take a look at them.
Yes, definitely.
Which
we
way
can
you wanna
just take
start?
a quick look at the kitchen.
All right, cool, yeah.
I don't know if we had a really good look at the kitchen right quick, but this is the kitchen when we first put it about 4 years ago. I have to warn you that you'll see some soldier roaches, I guess.
I know. That's the downside of being a landlord when you have a tenant that's not as cleansy or, they're not as clean as you would like them to be. But, that's all part of the process. And I know you have reserves in place to mitigate that. So we're going to fumigate, we're going to paint, we're going to clean it up, and everything's going to be pretty.
That's it.
Yep.
And next week it should be like brand new.
Yep. Ready to cash flow.
Yeah. That's the plan, So the plan is ready to cash flow. So in the back we're cleaning the stove, the appliances and all that stuff. So we should be done cleaning. But
you took them outside to scrub them?
Scrub them, making sure that they are up to standard before the
That's an interesting way to clean them. I ain't mad at you at all. We just take them outside and hose them down with some bleach.
Bleach, in and out. So
in and out.
Yes, you definitely have to cleanse them.
Right. That's one way of doing it.
Yeah. In and out, making sure they get good clean up before they come back inside.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
One of my really good friends, her name is Sherry Summers, and she has a property preservation company. And what she does is she services investors just like you, right? So when they have move outs and move ins, she comes and she does all the heavy cleaning. She has a crew that comes in and just kills it. You would not believe how she can turn units back into like brand new. It's like crazy. Yeah. But some investors do it on their own, or they have their own private crew, and they take that time and they do that themselves. And then others, they invest, and that's just part of their maintenance plan. They have somebody else come out and do it for them. Yep.
I'll show you around the
yard.
Yeah,
please do.
And the whole full of the 5 triplexes we lost the bid on.
Put your hand.
Yep, be careful.
So it's still a little rainy,
Still
but
raining,
it's all
I'm not
good.
sure.
It's raining money.
Yeah, get your hair wet. Is that okay? Yeah.
You get my hair and my red lips.
Oh my God, you got all those things wet. So this is
So show it to me.
This is one of the triplex that's like facing, you know, the other triplex that I
Right.
have here.
So this is another owner here.
This is another owner. That same owner who owns this owns the other 4 triplex on the back here.
Oh,
You can see that
wow.
they're the same color.
Oh, I did see. He saved on paint. They're all exactly the same color.
The same color, yeah.
Yeah,
the same
definitely.
owner.
Take a look at this area here.
Yeah.
So we have, not the gray one. Is the gray one part of it?
No,
No,
it's the blue
that's a
ones.
different. So
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
And 4. There's another 4
Right.
behind it.
Okay.
If you want to, you can. We can walk.
Are we going to
here,
try? Okay, so we just going to trespass a little bit, just a little bit.
Trespass a little bit.
We're going to go through the bushes to the other side.
Trespass a little bit so you can see. So, you know, as an investor or our company, we always trying to make sure that we get larger or get bigger than
Right.
what we have. And that was one of the prospect that we tried to get a year ago, but we weren't able to. You come
Oh
in.
man.
Okay,
So this, all 5 actually. So
Yes.
5 triplexes. And how much was he selling it for?
Well, he got 600 for him.
He got 600?
Yes.
Okay, that's still very competitive,
Yes.
especially if each unit, like you are, and these are kind of similar to your units?
Yes, those are all simple, like 2 bedrooms.
Yes.
So besides the 2 bedroom, my 2 bedrooms, you know, it's like $700 for my 2 bedroom, but their 2 bedroom, they're literally getting $750, $800 for them.
Say 750. So, I mean,
800.
worst case scenario, because I do easy math. So 7 times 3 is 21.
Yeah.
So, you know, worst case scenario, it'll be on the lower end, right? Because they
Yes.
can go a little bit higher. It'll be
Yes.
$2,100 per cash flowing per unit times
Yes.
5.
Yes.
Right.
That
So
would-
that's
that
what's
was-
up.
Yes. That'd be like $12,000 a month.
That is amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody could retire off of that.
Yes, you can.
Because that's what it's really all about. You know, it's acquiring properties, cash flowing them, and keeping them so that it pays you to stay home.
To stay home.
Right? So that's the difference between like wholesaling and like those other strategies, is the fact that you constantly have to keep doing them over and over and over again, and you are really not building any wealth here. You're building wealth with this strategy.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you can't. There's no lose in the situations here, you know, especially here in this area here in Fort Pierce. The rental demand is like pretty high.
It's pretty high.
So you'll put anything that you have here for rent within a day. You guarantee to buy like 5-6 calls. Like,
Wow.
hey, I want this property.
How do you screen your applicants?
So what we do, we go to the state and screen them by the states, and we usually ask them for their stub, the pay stub. So we screen them like that to see how much money they make. They have to make at least twice the amount that we're renting them for.
So that's your minimum.
Yes.
So their gross income or their net income has to be twice the amount of the rent.
The gross income.
The gross income has to be twice the amount of the rent. That's a
Yes.
great formula.
Yes.
Some people do three times, which is
Yes.
even more aggressive.
Yes,
But
it
is the income in this area that high for most people?
No, it is
Alright.
not that high, and that's the reason why we say twice the amount.
Okay.
If it's a little further up, 5%, deep in Port St. Lucie area, 3 times is definitely probably be the best. But the area here, so the income is not quite up there yet, and that's the reason we asked
Okay.
twice the amount.
Twice the amount. And you haven't had any challenges with that.
We haven't had any challenges.
So that number, those figures
They
work.
work.
That formula works.
Yes, it does.
That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
All right.
So-
This is nice.
Yes, it
Well,
is.
congratulations to the investor that bought it.
Yes.
Did you ever meet them?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Great people. It's a big company.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's not an individual investor.
No, it's not like we are like little small investors like us.
We ain't little. You take that back right now. We are not little,
We're not
okay?
little.
As 5'1", I am not little. I'm a huge
So
investor.
we'll take that back.
Take that back right
5'1"
now.
is definitely not little. So yeah.
But that's cool. Good peoples.
Yes, they're good people.
Exactly. That's one of my strategies as well. Whenever we buy investment properties, always make friends with the neighbors, right? So they watch your property, you watch their property. You see anything that is like an anomaly or strange, you call it in.
That's definitely
Right? You call it in. Everybody watches each other's back. Whenever I buy a property, I go knocking on doors. I be like, "Hi, how are you? I'm Jackie. You know, I own that house right down there." If you see somebody go in it, call me.
Me know. And believe
It's
you,
okay. Call me.
It works.
It does work.
Because previous owner as well. You know, he and I were really good friends. He passed by his house and passed by mine and stuff like that. So we were great, you know.
Right.
So anything that sometimes I even pick his brain sometimes as far as because when I first remember I told you when I first purchased this was my second purchase. So I was not a half handyman yet.
Yes.
Now that I am half handyman, but before I became a half handyman, I used to call him because he's like more of a handy person.
Right.
He's on this
for longer period of time, and he has more experience. Yeah.
So that was
definitely,
a great friend.
yeah, definitely borrowing somebody else's experience. That's super, super duper important. Yes. All right, so now we're getting ready to go take a tour around the outside of your other triplex on the other side. All right, Joseph. So as a experienced investor, right, for the last 4 years, what would you recommend to a new investor or someone who's actually, you know, maybe bought 1 or 2 properties? What would you tell them? What kind of advice would you share with them?
So the first thing and foremost, I would make sure that everybody understand that I'm a fervent believer because I went through it and it does work for me. So no one accomplished anything by themselves.
Yes.
There's no such thing as you accomplish anything by yourselves and all that stuff. You know, for example, you have to go to the store to get some food and you cook the food and, you know, you bought it for somebody else and so on and so forth. So it's the same thing when you trying to get something accomplished as far as getting properties. You know, you always gonna have to have like a mentor. Like you were my first mentor when I first started, and let me tell you, if it wasn't for you, I don't think, you know, I would have accomplished all this the way I did, you know. But definitely, you need a mentor. The first thing is you need a mentor and somebody that you trust, that you know that knows the market, understand it, and can give you the great advice. And so you can make sure that you keep in contact with them constantly and pick their brains. Okay? Pick their brains. Like
I remember
years.
you were like, Jackie, I was so tempted to call you 2 a.m., but I didn't do it. I was like, you better not call me 2 a.m. in the morning.
But I were tempted like several times. I remember sitting in front of my desk doing a couple of research. I saw something and it was like 1:30-ish in the morning. I'm like, should I call Jackie now or wait? And I did waited.
Don't call me 1:30 in the morning. It's not okay.
So I waited. So the second thing would be like have a plan and make sure you follow through with your plan and keep revising your plan.
Yes.
Because your plan, like I said, another revision that we did is just like, hey, we can't stay here in this area here. So we have to kind of like move in the other area to fit our needs. Because right now, the big investors like with multi-million dollars.
Right.
As you see the one who just purchased the 5
the ones with deep pockets.
Yeah. So that's what happened. They start moving in here in Fort Pierce. So investors with little pockets like me have to literally like move
take it back. Yeah. Take it back. Take it back. You're not little.
We're not little.
We're not little.
We're not deep pocket. So have a mentor.
Have a mentor.
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Follow through with the plan.
Follow through with your plan.
Keep revising.
And keep revising. Be flexible.
I sound like a military.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. The military is all up in there. All up in that plan.
It's all in there. Except with the well, you do have the advisor, but the planning process, the planning 8-step planning.
The
process,
planning stage.
Yeah, the 8-step planning process is just not in there.
But you have to develop a course of action.
Course of action. That's it.
We need a COA, a course of action, right?
So after your plan, you definitely need a course of action so you can put it through. And you know, after you put it through, then that's when you revise it.
And don't be afraid to learn new skills.
No.
Right?
No. Oh my
don't
God,
be afraid to learn new skills because you had to learn some new skills in order to maintain your properties too.
Yes.
This is true.
Yes.
And that was uncomfortable for you.
It was. And at one point there we were running out of like cash. Yeah. Because we were running out of
happens.
Cash, especially with the second property that I just showed you. At one point we were running out of cash, and that's one of the reasons why I called you a couple of times. But the second thing that I did...
Call me for money. He was like, there's money. Like, what I do? I don't got to do. I don't got no money.
Yes, I remember a couple of things that you said. Hey, make sure you move around. Like, go to a local bank. And
go to a local credit union, right?
Credit union.
Find a private lender. Right.
And I did that, and that's how I began getting like more
Good.
cash flows. But the learning process too, like you said, when we ran out of cash flow, so I started learning everything on my own. I started doing most of it on my own, and that helps with the cash flow.
Absolutely. Now, one of the strategies, I don't know if you employed this one, since it's a multi-unit, did you fix one in its entirety and then rent it? So now that one started generating cash, and then you move to the next one, and then rent it, so now you have 2 units that are cash flowing, and then you do the third and so on. Was that the strategy you did, or you just did all at once?
We did that with one of the unit, but we like to do them all at once, because especially the units that have that runs out of the septic systems and all that stuff.
I see.
So we just did everything all at once.
I gotcha.
But a couple of them we did that. The first duplex that I purchased, that's what it was, because it was already moved in. The only thing we had to do was just put a couple of lights, fixtures, and it was city water and sewer. So
so that one was an easier renovation.
Yes, it was really easy in renovation. So we renovated this one first within like 2 or 3 weeks, and like, okay, it's ready to move somebody in there. Then we finished the
and then you moved on to the next project.
Yes.
Oh man, well, I'm so proud of you, Joseph. I'm so happy that you took the time to show us around. And 15 units in 4 years is astronomical. That's wonderful. And then you're about to get 5 more, so that's 20 units, and then I'm sure you're going to be off to more than that.
Yes,
call me anytime.
Thank you.
Man, thanks.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, the Jackie Jackson. If you want some information about how to contact me in real estate coaching, just go to thejackyjackson.com, and I will see you guys later.